With the help of this activity, it's intended that the student learns a language, English, through content, art. The unit is designed to work with primary pupils, and besides studying and learning about modern art and English, also it aims to meet some of the prominent artists of this period, is information about them and any of their works, etc., and know how to use and master English. This unit is part of a bilingual project. During this session, the student will study the art, comparing different movements, painting techniques, and is expected the students to be able to express themselves with the correct vocabulary. To do this, different strategies are used. The main one will be the communicative method, which is focused on the use of exact vocabulary and sentences. Although the curriculum doesn't make reference to a specific methodology, the communicative method is considered, from my point of view, effective in order to increase the pupils' communicative competence, because the 4 basic skills, reading, listening, writing, and speaking, can be worked inside significant communicative situations. Another method is the final task, which is focused on the use of language and on asking students to carry out meaningful group work. This task will be carried out at the end of the unit to facilitate the language learning process. Making a brief comparison with Bloom's taxonomy, this unit was created in order to promote forms of analyzing and evaluating concepts, processes, procedures, and principles, rather than just remembering facts, showing at the same time an overview of the educational process, an holistic view. On the other hand, before presenting the unit to class, it is important to be clear about what will be the objectives and steps of planning for effective learning. If you read the article of Coyle, Hood, and Marsh, the CLIL toolkit, you will find several steps or stages that they can be helpful for planning the unit. For example, a shared vision for the construction of ideas, questions for the unit, analyze and personalize, plan, reflect, communicate, prepare, evaluate, and so on. Pupils should always be encouraged to participate and learn to work independently as well as in group, as an aid to the construction of knowledge, another feature of competence-based education. In the different activities, children will develop skills linked to basic competencies, and in addition in the foreign language. This didactic unit related to the acquisition of key competencies defined points as linguistic competence. This competence refers to the use of language, in this case the English, as a tool for oral and written communication, learning, and self-regulation of thought, emotions, behavior, etc. It also helps students to create positive and develop constructive relationships with others, the environment, the subject, and the language. In short, acquiring this competence means acquiring a fluency in oral and written language in several contexts, and being able to use at least one foreign language. The second competence is the communicative one. The use of nonverbal language, paintings, pictures, songs, apart from the verbal language used by the teacher and children through their interactions, draws on different activities. Similarly, they are asked to present their ideas in some ways, talking, finding information, writing, for example, helping them to develop new ways of expressing meanings. Cultural and artistic competence consists of knowing, appreciating, understanding, and assessing different forms of cultural and artistic expressions, using them as a source of enjoyment and enrichment. Social competence: students will be able to understand the social reality of the world in which they live, cooperate, get involved, and tackle conflicts. This means that acquiring this competence translates into being able to empathize and understand other people's position, accept differences, be tolerant, respect and accept values, beliefs, personal and collective ideas, etc. Learning to learn. This competence refers to start learning and to continue learning independently and seek answers. It also involves allowing and motivating students to look for those answers using different methodological approaches. Autonomy and personal initiative. This competence refers to students being able to use their own judgment and have the initiative required to make and pursue individual choices and take responsibility for them. By acquiring this competence, students have the opportunity to become more creative, innovative, responsible, and critical in their approach to individual or group projects. The final task of this didactic unit is a group work about the painters and paintings. It means that it should be focused on searching information about the subject they have to work on, to remember previous knowledge, recognize and reinforce. First, it will be done individually, for after work, compare and correct with peers. The process of creating their own production will be the best way of observing if the activities done during the former lessons have been useful, although the main point is in this session is let the child express their own ideas, feelings, and so on. At the end of this unit, students start to show confidence when using familiar language about art modern expressions. They must recognize and formulate some expressions based on the pictures. They must understand what they have heard. They must be able to use language to describe. On the other hand, pupils will be able to interact by asking and answering questions about the art they are studying, by working in pairs or individually, by analyzing, speaking and interacting. Also, they must be able to write, making use of the new vocabulary according to the situation, by at least complete the worksheets writing. Students will listen carefully and respond appropriately to what has been said to be able to respond correctly to different questions. They are able, therefore, to use all the structures learned confidentially, communicate their experiences, ideas and opinions to others, describing what they are seeing.